Hey guys, I was going to give you guys an update. I had my first customer build, but they backed out before I got it up off the ground. Quite literally, they were looking for a pink Jeep, so I drove to Dallas and bought this one for $5. And as you can see, hopefully my wife likes waking up to the sound of Sawzall in the morning. This one would never have made it on the road again, just because it's so dry rotted. But the good thing about these, if you do lift these, is that the sun never touches parts of these things. So say the part that I need is going to be this part, which is all still really good quality plastic. And it's the same as in here. The seat went over this, so this is all still good, solid, good plastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut it off, and I'm going to leave everything attached. I'm going to cut it out with motors, everything. When I'm talking about cutting these, what you always hear me talking about is to cut them down the line, cut them down here. And I'll probably take a little file and kind of trim that up. But really, you're not going to really see this part too much. It's just really, whenever you're taking pictures and stuff, you won't see a little edge or something like that. And that's why I'll make it clean. This is where the grill goes. And so all this will hide steering components that you would need in order to make a lifted Jeep work using the tub system. What you do is you take two identical Jeeps if you can find them, and then cut the section out of the top, and then cut that back section out, and it will actually mount right underneath the other one, giving it 4 to 6 inch lift. The hardest part is the steering. I've noticed if you'll take the steering, this portion right here, out of a Cadillac Escalade, it mounts up perfectly right here in this area, and it mounts up exactly in here without any modifications. One of the things that I noticed that I didn't like always with this Jeep was the camber on it. I got this system from a free Power Well, so what I didn't realize until getting this new one, you need this component right here, and that will make the tires set straight, and you won't have to use washers to have it mounted. Another tip is if you use these tires, they will give you probably another 2 to 3 inch lift off the stock tires that the Jeeps came with. And this steering component right here will actually mount up without any welding at all required. The only modifications that you have to make is it comes from a different area. So maybe you can see where it went in to the bottom on the stock one. This time it's going to come in from the top, and you'll have to make holes in it, and then let me see if I can get in here and show it to you. And then that was the mods that I had to do in order to make this one work. The Jeep comes and hits the steering component from the back, and this one from the front. So that is what you'll need in order to get a lifted Jeep off the ground and steering without welding. Things I didn't mention earlier was that this rod right here, this metal rod that went through the top, I could not quite make it reach without removing that. I don't know what the long-term repercussions of running one without that, or how important that is. I did want to bring it up that it just will not quite reach the steering without that, and that's just a couple of millimeters difference of actually making it work. I would suggest maybe putting an extra thin washer in there to try to keep it further off the plastic, but I don't foresee any long-term effects of it, but that's to be seen. We've run the other one for about 6 months and haven't had any issues. But I did want to mention that if you do not remove that, the steering will not quite reach the shaft. So yeah, sorry about that. I was just going to go over where I put the holes at. I put one right there, and one right here. This still separates, so there's one right there, one right here. And what's cool is because whenever you put this the other Jeep section on it, you won't even see that hole at all. It'll look nice and clean. There won't be anything, and then the hole should go right through there and through the top one, and then go to the front of the shaft. Like I said, you never know if you put the hole exactly right, but basically if it's not, you'll just have to trim that out, but eventually you'll have to do enough to get it to work. The other section that will also need to be cut is this section, which I haven't done right here, because the shaft will be coming through this top part, this bottom part right here, and so I'll have to take that out as well, but that's where it goes, and that's what it looks like. Let's see the picture here. This is the Cadillac Escalade steering components on the Jeep. They mount up exactly without any modifications. Like I said, remember that you do need these or your wheel will not set in there straight. And you'll probably need some washers just to hold it up. Put one extra washer in between there because these spindles are a little bit longer. And a couple of mods that you'll have to make is you'll have to remove this tab right here in order for those to set flush. This is the component that I left off because with that, even though it's only that thick, the steering column won't reach. Even that washer might be too much, but that's about as far as I can get you without having to play with it and make it work. But it does work. So I wanted to let you guys see it at this stage right here. Alright, we have it loosely hooked up. This is the steering out of the Cadillac Escalade Power Wheel. Everything's just loosely put in, nothing bolted down, and we have steering now. Like I said, the great part about this is that it doesn't require any welding. My only tip was to remove the bar that went right here, because it just barely reaches. That's going to be all you're going to the clearance you're going to have is just a few millimeters. It fits almost custom, if you will, and pretty excited about it. The last tip that I have on this steering is to Dremel this out a little bit wider. I think it ends about right here, and just this little bit of extra cutting will give you about an inch or two more turning radius, and that will make all the difference because it's going to be a big turning radius. If you do not cut that, it's going to take a long time to make a circle. I don't know if it's because of the bigger wheels or what it is, but that's a decent turning radius right there for a jacked up Jeep, and so I would definitely suggest opening that up where you can turn it further. But anyway, that concludes the steering other than bolting it down. I just kind of like the idea of getting a Cadillac Escalade because the wheels add an extra 2 or 3 inches. The steering shaft fits custom, perfect fit, and what more could you ask for? Hey guys, I'm finishing up the Barbie Jeep here. We got the headlights working on it, And I'm just having a little bit of an issue, and I was going to see if anybody had ran into this, where the steering in it is good on like a smooth surface, or fairly good, but once I get like on like something like a carpet, it just doesn't want to turn, and it doesn't turn as good anyway. The radius is really off compared to a smooth surface. So I was just going to see if anybody had an idea of what that is or how to remedy it. I thought there was some slack maybe in there, and I put like a water pipe around the shaft to kind of maybe stop it if there's any kind of play from like side to side. But right now I just can't quite figure out why it doesn't want to turn well under like carpet or probably like heavy grass. I haven't got it out in the grass yet. So any ideas would be appreciated. Thanks. Words of Scooby-Doo. Ruh-roh. This one, I had thought I figured out the steering on it, but I made a fatal mistake of being able to do it because I drilled holes right there on the top one instead of making a little slot like the one on the bottom. See how that's a slot? See how that's a hole? These things are going to take the path of least resistance whenever you're turning it. So I ran it through the bottom. Sometimes necessity is the mother of all inventions. And I actually came up with what I think is a better idea than the first one. You remember how I told you that you couldn't use that bar? Well, what I ended up doing was running, the bottom part is actually the Jeep. That is actually the Jeep part. The rod is the Escalade, and these spindles will be off the Escalade. So it's still kind of a mutt, but what I have noticed is that if you look at the camber on this was actually pretty decent, especially compared to what it was. My only issue right now is that the rod is too long now, and it wasn't turning on carpet, but now it'll turn on carpet. And what I'll have to do is I'm gonna try to do this with PVC and see if I can build something that goes in here and then catches here. I've seen videos where they shaved this off, and that's what I did on this one. But really, what it'll do, I can't make it do it, but it'll completely go around to the other side. But anyway, that's what it was. So I'm gonna have to update my other video to show my solution for this problem that I had, and then hopefully I'm going to start doing it like this because I'm going to now be able to build the Cadillac Escalade because the steering components haven't been robbed off of it. Is to put a hole right there on the top where that one was, and then insert the screw in and see if that will block it from coming in, and put a smaller recess in the PVC and see if that helps. Alright, there she is in all her glory. I finally finished it. Listed it for sale on OfferUp. It lasted all of 5 minutes, which basically means I probably didn't charge enough, but I'm just going to let it go. It's been a fun build, but that's what it looks like. I'll do a couple of the little features. I'm not sure if I recorded it or not. And that's got a underglow light in it. I'm not sure if it shows up because it's still light outside. It looks real good at night. And then the headlight switch comes on with it. So, pretty sweet ride. Glad it's done.